Hello, today we will create a small console application which you can use to verify the health of your customers' websites. Here is how the application will work. It will be a console application which reads a file that you will have hosted in SharePoint Online. That will be an Excel file with a list of customers and a couple of columns. For example, the website URL and the email address. Of course, also the name of your customer. So the application then will read that file. It will read all of the columns that you require. It will get the URL and it will create or execute a ping against that URL, and it will print the results of that. It will try to access the website and it will print the results in the console. Then if you like, you can create a database and store of those results in the database and then create reports about how often a customer website has been unreachable, let's say. Things like that. Okay, so the first we need is to have an Office 365 account, which you can get it from the links in the description. Okay, then we will create a file like this with more rows, of course. So we'll have like a column for the company, a column for the website, and a column for the email, and of course the values of each. Okay, then we will upload this file to somewhere in our SharePoint Online. So I already have this upload in my SharePoint Online, and the file we are using is this one, domain check client list sample. Okay, so there are certain things we need to get from here. First, we need to get the view path, and we have to get this information. Documentos compartidos. Actually, this one, the one after the ID. This will be this one. So let's see. We get this part of the URL. We have to get the main part of the URL. And also, we need to have, of course, the name of the file, which will be this one. And we have to get this ID. Now, if you see this ID, it's enclosed in this URL encoding value. So you need to get it. You need to get what's included between the %7b and %7d, like that. Like that. Then our URL will be built this way. The main URL, the folder URL without the encoding. This is for space, so we use a space. This is for a slash, replace it with a slash. This is a space, we replace it with space. This is a slash, and this is a space. Okay. Then we need to add file name, w equals the ID. Okay, so I made a small mistake here. First, documentos compartidos, share documents, is without the space. Then the rest is similar except on this parameter. It's not a D, is a W. And then the ID. So this is the actual URL we will have to use. Then we will create a small console application using Windows Forms. And after we have created our console application, we will we will add values under settings. And here in these settings we will add our settings values. So we will input source file URI or the URL, the Office 365 URL. This will be the SharePoint Online based URL, and a username and password for the user that we will use through the application, for the application, in order to be able to retrieve the file from SharePoint Online. This can be a user created in Office 365 specifically for accessing that library. Okay, if you see here, I have the URL. Here I have my ID, and here I have my my SharePoint Online URL. Then we'll add the username and password. So once you have created the once you have set those values in the main, we will write this console write line to indicate that our application has just started. Then we will retrieve the file name from the settings. We will get the server URL from here, and we will get the server relative path. So we run what we have so far, and yeah, we print in the console, we get the file name, we see that the file name has that string. Then we get the server information, and you see that the server gets here the server gets the URL without the paths to the document library, and here we get the server relative, which will be the absolute path. So here you see that here we get the relative path to the file. So in the client context, or we have to create a context, and this context basically creates an instance to be able to access our server. So you see that it has to use a secure string, right? Okay, and then it will try to access with a secure password and username. So this is failing at the moment because I have my settings for these two blank. So I'll add them in a while and we'll continue. Once we have added our username and password, we will see that we have now a ClientContext instance, and this ClientContext instance is the one we can use in order to open the binary file or open the file that is located at the server relative path. Here we send the server relative path because the ClientContext already have the information on the base path where it is going to connect, since the ClientContext actually retrieves or gets the URL for the SharePoint Online web. So we continue, we open the file, we wait a second for it to open, and we see that here it already opened that file. Now what we have is to copy that file locally in order to process it. So we create a temporary path and a temporary file path. So we'll see that we will copy the bytes of this file in our local app data, local temp, empresas por tamaño temp XLSX. So this is this name. We are going to set it. We will open a file stream, and then what we will do is we will invoke the stream.copy from the file information, which is the variable which has the information from our SharePoint Online hosted document, and we will copy all of those bytes in our file stream, which this file stream is the one accessing the path where we are going to write those bytes locally. Let's close that file and let's see if it was because the file was in use. Okay, so we had an issue because our file was in use, actually on edit mode. So here we see that it already copied. So we read the file with CSV helper. We see that we have CSV reader, and we create an instance of CSV reader where we send an instance of the Excel parser because we are sending it an XLSX file. It's not a CSV. So we read it, and now we can get the field. So we get the URL, we get the email. So we just verify if the URL is valid, and if it doesn't have HTTP or HTTPS, we will add HTTP. And then when we have read all of the of the lines that are on the file, we can start processing. So here I'm just creating a stopwatch in order to verify how long it will take. Since I am debugging, it will take a little bit longer because I am debugging, right? So we start the watch, it starts counting. We create a request to this single file clientinfo.url, which is the URL for customer, let's say. We send it a user agent, which is a constant in our application, where we say that we have a Mozilla 5.0 compatible with Internet Explorer 11, right? We ask for the request for the response, and then we print what happened. So we print something like this. We check the URL https www.pticostarica.com. The response was okay, description was okay, and it took 32 seconds, let's say. And then we continue with the rest of the clients we have in that document. We print the message if we want to quit, and we quit the application. Now there are a couple of things. For this application to work, we need to create or add the NuGet packages. rsoftools.net version 2.2.4, CSP helper 2.13 5.0, CSP helper.xl 1.0.5, and WHOIS client BS 2005 2016 0120.1. rsoft is the one which has the required classes to get the MX records from an email from a domain, which is a second part of this video we will see later on, where we will not only request for the URL, but we will also use the email column in order to get the MX records for the specific domain and verify the email server and the health of their MX records configuration. So I hope you have liked this video, and if you like it, please share it. Also, in order to retrieve this sample, you can go to the GitHub repository, which is linked in the description. Thank you very much, and we talk later.